Hello everybody and welcome back to We Watched a Thing with Billy and Dave, where this week we didn't watch anything, did we, mate?
No, well, I watched a lot of stuff, but we're not talking about anything.
You want to give me a wrap-up? What did you watch? The only thing I saw was the Taylor Swift Eras tour, because I got dragged to it because, you know, being a girl dad, I got a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old and they were desperate to see it. And, oh my God, it's like some Martin Scorsese shit. It's nearly 4 hours long. And there's like over 40 songs. I knew maybe 8 of them. It was an ordeal.
Thankfully, I've been spared the whole T-Swift thing. No, neither of my girls are really into it.
Yeah.
I did have my 11-year-old Leah just literally beside herself. Like if we had a pet dog that died, she wouldn't have cried this hard because she found out that Kiss did a farewell concert. And Sonia and I sort of talked about it briefly, and the tickets were like, you know, $5,000 plus one of your kidneys, and we just went, fucking no. Because partly, well, I assumed it'd be like the Stones, that they're all in their 70s now. I assumed it'd be shit. Yeah. Apparently, the show fucking slapped. There's clips all over YouTube. But apparently, it was amazing. And so, I mean, you're probably much the same. As soon as the girl starts crying, I just lose all willpower inside. Then on the spot dropped like $110 buying the entire 3-volume Kissology 9 DVD set for it.
Nice.
So hopefully that's not setting a precedent for expensive gifts in the future.
Well, since we didn't watch anything, you came up with a fun idea that we do our top 10 actors we would watch read the phone book, meaning basically actors that we would just watch no matter what they do.
Yeah.
So you told me earlier in the week that you struggled with this, that you had a list of like 40 or something.
I must just never stop watching shit because I just kept on thinking of people. I fucking love them. I'd watch them in any genre.
Yeah,
God, they're so good. And the list was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so I started having to sort of put very strict, you know. Just because I really like them, have I seen them in a lot of different things to date, or do I just? So there's a couple of people that, you know, I won't mention yet because I mean they probably won't, but they, in case they're on your list, but where I fucking adore them and I would watch them in anything, but they've only done like 1 or 2 things, and you know I'm just basing it on the fact that I really like that thing. So I kind of culled a bunch for that.
That's totally fair. I was a bit the same. My list is all people who I've seen in many, many, many things and many different genres, like you said. I think to me that was important. Like, would I literally watch this person play the shark in Jaws?
Yep.
And so that's kind of how I approached it. But I did not have as big a list as you. I've got my 10. I do have a couple of honorable mentions that I thought about. But I'm happy with my 10. Are you happy with the 10 that you got in the end?
Yeah, I was on 12 or 13.
Yeah,
right up until earlier today, because I literally couldn't. There weren't any that I liked more than any others. I couldn't come up with, and eventually I just ended up, like I said, one of them I culled, and our friend Cheryl Morris is probably never going to speak to me again, purely because I've seen her in a few things, but my love for her is really based on like 3 things.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
2 of which one is a sequel to another one, so that might be a giveaway. And another person I left out just because they've kind of been cancelled and we're not meant to like them anymore.
Okay.
Even though I...
Is that Kevin Spacey?
Yeah. So for like 20 years, I would watch him in anything, and he was probably my favourite performer. And I still love all the stuff he's done. I can divorce him from the work very easily.
But you might not be rushing out to watch something today. Yeah.
No, fuck, I would. Like, I have no problem separating art from artist.
Yeah.
Most of the great artists in history are complete and utter fucking psychos.
100%.
So I don't have any... You know, Beethoven was a cunt.
Yeah. I mean... half the podcasts we listen to, those people are cunts.
Oh, God, yeah. But I needed a reason to pull someone out of the 12 alongside the other one. So I just went, well, we don't like him anymore, so therefore he's out.
Yeah.
And that's so I got to 10. But man, all bar the top. Nah, fuck it. I couldn't take anyone out of this 10. I was going to say I could swap any of them at any time, but nah.
All right. Do you want to kick us off, or do you want me to kick us off this week?
You, because I'm still shuffling the order of the last three.
Okay. All right. My number 10 is, some people might consider this a bit of a cheat, because when you think of this person, you don't think of them as an actor. This person, you can probably guess from this next sentence, is a writer-director. But they are literally the only person on my list where I have seen every single performance they've ever done, and they have acted in things before that they didn't write and direct. I'm talking about Kevin Smith.
Oh, right.
So he's my number 10. And again, I know that's a bit of a cheat, because most of the movies he's in are his own movies, and you're watching them. I was going to say, has he ever been in anything
that he didn't write and direct?
He has. He was in one of the Die Hards.
Of course, yeah. He was the underrated number 4, where he was a computer nerd.
He was in a rom-com with Jennifer Garner, which from memory was called Catch and Release.
God, that sounds problematic.
He's done the odd role that wasn't his own. So that's why he's number 10 on my list, is because I know that this is a bit of a cheat.
Sorry, I got distracted. Your robot vacuum cleaner just went by in the background.
I'm a lazy man, Dave.
Yeah, not as lazy as me. I can't even use mine because I'm too lazy to clear the floor enough for it to map the place.
But yeah, so that's my number 10, Kevin Smith. I've literally seen every performance that he's ever done.
I would have said that too until you announced that he was in some rom-com apparently called Catch and Release.
And so that is the reason he sneaks on this list, even though I'm not really watching him for his performances. But I like him so much as a person and as an artist that I like supporting him, and I like checking out things that he's in. So that's why he's here at number 10.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think, yes, part of the reason that I like his performances is because he's written what he's saying, but I still like the way he delivers. It's kind of like and apologies if you're going to mention him, but kind of like Seth MacFarlane.
Oh, I'm not going to mention him, but he's another one actually that I would watch anything he's in. Yeah,
because I just like his personality and his delivery. But
have you listened to any of his albums?
He's like a.
He's got 2 big band jazz albums, and they're fucking fantastic.
I haven't. I think you recommended them before. I haven't got around to it, but I saw him perform at one once. I think on Graham Norton, and went, "Oh shit, that's
mate. You know what? Maybe I'll give you one for our Patreon series at one point, because his albums are fantastic. He's a great performer. That's a good call.
Yeah, I was surprised when I kind of like when you find out that like Steve Martin's a world-class banjo player, and you just go, this does not compute.
And seriously, he is. Like, he not just comedy albums, he has some fantastic just bluegrass albums. He's just incredible.
Oh yeah. He's genuinely just really, really good. And I remember hearing him, like, before he went to comedy, he actually that's what he wanted to do, was music. The comedy just kind of happened.
Yeah.
Kind of like Billy Joel happened into pop music, where he wanted to be a classical composer. And
I mean, let's not talk too much about Steve Martin at this point, though, because spoiler alert for later in my list. But, all right, let's get over to your number 10.
My number 10, this is where one of my very few spirit animals is going to reside, and that is Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, I love Aubrey Plaza. That's a great call, actually. I also would watch anything she's in.
And I mean, everyone kind of thinks of her as the kind of dry, cutting, deadpan comedy. But she's done some great dramatic stuff. She had a cracking psychological thriller called Black Bear.
I watched that
the year before.
Yep.
Where she kind of almost did dual roles. She's a really good actress. And I just gel with her personality so much.
Yeah.
I love her.
I totally get that. She's one of those actresses where, I'm exactly the same, actually. I'll watch anything that she's in. I also saw Black Bear. Ingrid Goes West was another great one. From memory, she was
Life After Beth. She's done a few with the same director, whose name escapes me now. Life After Beth, which is a cracking zombie comedy with her and Dane DeHaan and a few other people. That I really, really liked. And Ingrid Goes West. There was one other one.
Was it Seeking a Friend for the End of the World she was in, or was it Safety Not Guaranteed? It was one of those.
Safety Not Guaranteed.
Yeah, right.
Good call.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah, no, excellent call, man.
That's
That's
safety
a good-
not guaranteed. It's just reminded me of someone that probably should be in my top 10 and I didn't even think of as an honorable mention. So
Well, there you
sorry
go.
to the Duplass brothers.
Yes, I very much considered Mark Duplass. I love Mark Duplass. All right, good call. All right, my number 9 is, and I know that our mutual friend
Chris Farley.
no, well, fuck, he should be on this list. Fucking love Chris Farley.
No, he shouldn't.
Oh, don't put Farley in charge of the bees. I know that our mutual friend Paul from The Countdown, who we're actually going to have some drinks with later this week, he's
we are.
going to hate me for this choice because I know that he hates this actress, as does my wife. It's Anne Hathaway. who
Yes.
I think of as the fucking every woman. I love Anne Hathaway. I'll
Claude.
watch anything she's in.
Her and her giant Disney princess eyes.
Oh, she's so beautiful. But apart from that, I think that she has a massive range. She has a really good sense of comedic timing. She is fantastic in her dramatic turns. She has so much charisma herself that in a rom-com, the chemistry almost doesn't matter because she's able to exude so much chemistry just on her own. So, yep, love Anne Hathaway. I'll watch anything she's in, much to my wife's chagrin because I've made her watch some absolute shit. But, yep, big fan.
I will gladly sit through bloody Princess Diaries or whatever with the kids when they were young enough to want to watch them because she's just such a delight. And she's one of those kind of like a female Brad Pitt that she's almost inhumanly good looking, but has no qualms about making herself look ridiculous or unattractive or taking the piss out of herself. She has no vanity in her performance, which is rare at that sort of level of kind of Hollywood, beauty.
So is she on your list or?
No, weirdly didn't even cross my mind. I think I just stopped thinking of people when I got to about 50 and I don't know if I would put her on because I would gladly watch her interviewed any day of the week, but there has been stuff she's been in that I haven't liked, and so I kind of she doesn't quite carry the whole project for me the way
fair enough
some others would, but no qualms about it.
All right, your number 9.
My number 9 is probably the least well known on my list. Are you familiar with Britt Marling?
The name sounds super familiar, but no.
She has not been in that many things because she generally writes all her own stuff, usually either by herself or in collaboration with a couple of people that she was sort of friends with when they were going through film school, mainly the director Zal Batmanglaj. If I got that right. They co-created The OA on Netflix, which is one of the greatest sci-fi shows of the last 20 years, as far as I'm concerned. Rudely cancelled by Netflix because they're assholes. But she's also co-written and starred in great sci-fis and Another Earth's a really good one. There was a kind of a spy thriller thing called The East that she wrote and starred in. Just stunningly beautiful.
Yeah.
One of the best writers working, and I just love the fact that she's just from day one said, there's not good roles for women, so I'm just going to fucking write my own.
Yeah, nice.
And has, from day one, has done that. From film school, has never, I think she's done a couple of small roles in, things that weren't hers. Yeah. Still decent projects, but presumably just to sort of pay the bills and whatnot, keep the lights on. But by and large, she's just gone from project to project to project, doing her own stuff with her, one or two collaborators, and every single thing, as far as I'm concerned, is like 3.5, 4 out of 5 at worst.
Yeah, nice.
So partly because she's stunning and very, very good actress, but I guess because I know that everything she's in is top draw because she's been part of the creative process the whole way through. Her name to me is kind of like a seal of quality.
Yeah, I have some people on my list who not only do I think that they're, just in general great actors or actresses, but part of the reason they're on my list is because I trust that they pick good projects.
Yeah.
So for sure, there's some of that going on. My number 8 is actually one of those people, and there are several people on my list who you will be able to guess. You know that they're there. You said their names last week. And this is a guy who falls into that category, but I don't think you would have guessed it. But I think of this guy in the same slew of those men who I find very handsome, and more than that, just charismatic, who I think can carry a film. And I'm talking about John Cho. Are you a John Cho fan?
Wow. In no world was that going to be one of the names that I guessed.
I fucking love John Cho. I just think from the moment I saw him in American Pie chanting MILF, 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 there's something about him where, to me, he is enough to carry a film. And we saw that very recently with Searching, where that film hinges on his performance, which was a more dramatic turn than we've seen him do in the past. But
for sure.
He is a name that literally, if I see he's going to be in something, I'll get excited. And I'm not necessarily going to love everything that he's in, but I'm always guaranteed to, at the very least, enjoy his performance. I just find him really charismatic in his roles.
He's certainly got range. I mean, you don't go from Harold and Kumar to Star Trek to Searching. What else was
Star
there?
Trek. How good is he as Sulu?
The last couple of years that he was in something, and I was like, oh, that's John Cho. Oh, he's aged a bit. But it wasn't Searching. I think it's something since then, and I can't for the life of me think what it is.
He's one of those great character actors, I think, where he pops up a lot, often in the background of things. He's not often the lead characters, but
Hollywood's racist and they don't like Asians.
Yeah, but I love John Cho. I just think he's just such an awesome dude. He just seems like a cool dude. He exudes like just charisma. Yeah.
Yeah. I like
all right.
It. Good call. I did not see that coming at all. My number 8. All right, so this is someone who I have not seen in a lot of things.
Okay.
But the things that I have seen her in have been, not only has she been so impressive, but it's enough that I've just fallen in love with her completely, and I'm talking about Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a good call. Yeah, I'm the same, actually.
I mean, it's literally, it's Fleabag and it's No Time to Die. Indiana Jones. Dial of Destiny.
Just recently, I think I told you recently I went and saw the...
that you saw the stage thing. I
stage play.
I couldn't find it anywhere.
And she was... I had no idea she had such range. There's... Because I still haven't finished Fleabag, but there are scenes in the stage play where you feel for her. She's just fantastic.
Yeah. I think I said to you when we were talking about Indy that she's just such an example of someone's personality and intelligence and sense of humor, making them just amazingly attractive, irrespective, not that she's unattractive, but irrespective of what someone looks like. If they've got a personality like hers, you just want to be in the same room as them.
That's a great call.
And she would, you know, if I ever did one of those, you know, what 5 people, living or dead, would you have dinner with? She would guaranteed be in that list of 5.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. All right, my number 7 is one of those people I was talking about earlier, where not only do I think he's a great actor, but I think that he picks good roles. Like, very few of the movies he's been in I haven't enjoyed. He has this amazing way of picking movies that are going to be huge, and yet, apart from like one example, I can't think of any like big block. You know, he's not like a Marvel actor or anything. And I'm talking about Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Because I just think he's honestly, he's one of those people who was so attractive at the time that people kind of diminished what a great actor he was for a very long time.
He though?
Yeah,
I never understood even back in
fucking what's he mention Gilbert Grape?
I'm not going to mention Baz Luhrmann because that's against the rules of the podcast. But even in sort of Titanic, you know, when he was the pin-up, you know, teenage girls poster on the wall, I was still looking at him going, kind of looks a bit like Bert Newton. He's got a moon face. I don't get it.
I just think he's such a great... Even like, you know, you think back to his early performances like What's Eating Gilbert Grape, where it's one of his best performances to this day. And then
he was nominated for that, wasn't he?
I believe he was. And he's done so many different genres. Like, you look at his turn in The Revenant, you look at his stuff in Tarantino's, you know, bloody Django, where he somehow injects so much comedy into this horrific kind of role and performance. Like, I think he has an extreme
and it's not just the writing, because Tarantino's kind of done 100%. Similar things in the past that haven't worked as well.
Yes.
But then you get like a Christoph Waltz in Inglourious Basterds, or a Leo as Candy.
Yeah.
And it's their acting that make those 100%. Words sing more so than Tarantino's writing, I think.
Yeah, yep. So yeah, there's my number 7, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Can't argue with Leo. Alrighty, I'm heading to your hometown now.
Okay.
A Canberran born and raised.
No way. Are you George Lazenby?
Oh, good call. But no, I am talking about Mia Wasikowska.
Yeah.
Who I absolutely fucking adore.
Yeah. She's more or less retired from acting now, hasn't she?
No, she's been doing. She just doesn't do big
stuff. Doing more indie stuff.
Apart from Alice, she's just recently done I think it's an Aussie thing, because it's got Eric Bana in it, where it's not called Big Fish. That's Tim Burton. It's called Big Blue or Blue something, where it's about she's grown up having befriended this giant groper fish and is protecting it's like an Aussie. It looks like an Aussie telly movie, but I'm kind of keen to see it because it looks nice.
Okay.
But she's got such range. In the space of a handful of years, she went and did bloody Nicolas Pesquet's Piercing, which is psychological horror to the max. You know, that's really out left of center. But then she delivers, as far as I'm concerned, the all-time greatest rendition of Jane Eyre that's ever been filmed, the Cary Fukunaga one, and does stuff like Alice.
Yeah.
And is amazing. And in Alice, she acts Johnny Depp off the screen. In Jane Eyre, she outacts Fassbender. Everything she's in, she quietly shines and overshadows these big flamboyant actors who normally dominate whatever they're in. So I'll watch her in anything. And if you haven't seen Judy and Punch,
I haven't actually.
That's fucking great.
I did hear things about that.
Damon Herriman, speaking of Aussies, and it's this kind of period psychological horror.
Yeah,
and it's fucking great. She is amazing in it.
Good call.
Nice. Miguel Mia.
All right. Well, number 6 for me is, he's already come up. It's Steve Martin. Steve Martin is, I think, one of the greatest people on earth. I just, and as a musician myself, I love his banjo stuff as well. Like, I just think he is.
You know what he is? You know what he is?
What?
A wild and
crazy guy. He's so funny. He's so smart. Not long before you joined the show, I made our friend Julio from the Contrarians watch a movie called L.A. Story, which Steve Martin wrote and directed and acted. Oh, well, you're on my side of the fence. It's one of my all-time favorite films. Julio did not feel the same way. It was a little too broken inside, even for him. But I adore Steve Martin. I will literally watch anything he's in. If you look at my list of top 100 movies, there'd be at least 10 in there that are Steve Martin films. Movies like The Jerk, I love. House Sitter, I think, is fantastic.
These cans. He's the king of the soundbites.
Shinola. I just think he's fantastic. I just love him so much. So there you go. Steve Martin is my number 6.
It's weird. See, the Martin things that I love, I really love. Like The Man with Two Brains, I think is one of the greatest comedies of the last 50 years. LA Story, I love. I love him in Father of the Bride.
Yep. Bowfinger. Oh no! See, Bowfinger's fantastic.
Then there's but there's a lot of ones like that. Leap of Faith, is that him?
Yep.
Yeah, where I'm just kind of, not so much. So he's very hit and miss for me.
Yeah,
but I get, if you like him in his kind of pure Martin jerk days, then I can get that you would love everything else beyond that, because he cycled from there to sort of Only Murders.
Yeah. And I love Only Murders.
And it's been a transition over time. So I love Roxanne and I love Man with Two Brains. So, but I'm not. Yeah, the Jerk and some of the earlier stuff, I'm not as big a fan. But yeah.
Alrighty. So on to your number 6.
Well, speaking of Alice in Wonderland, my number 6 is the Deppster himself, Johnny Depp.
Right. Okay. Johnny Depp's an interesting one for me because I like him, and I like him in a lot of things. In fact, just the other night I was saying that I need to rewatch Secret Window because I've been on a bit of a horror thriller kick. Rewatched Misery,
Underrated
What
movie.
Lies Beneath, and I was like, yeah, let's rewatch
That
Secret
and
Window.
the Tim Hutton, The Dark Half. Both,
right.
I think, underrated Stephen King-y things, I think. Yeah.
So yeah, I like Johnny Depp, but to me, he has become overshadowed by his association
I knew
with
you were
Burton.
going to say that.
And I really hate every Burton film he's done, basically since Edward Scissorhands.
I'm not a fan of the Wonka. I'm not a fan of Wonka, but I do love the Alice films.
Yeah, I
But
gotta
I think
say,
what I would
anything
recommend, go and see. I think here it was called The Professor. It did have another name, I think, in the States. It's post Burton stuff. It's from like 2020 or 2021, something like
okay.
that. That will make you cry.
Okay.
It's a little bit sort of Wonder Boys. He's a sort of middle-aged professor at a kind of prestigious school.
Yep.
Who gets diagnosed with terminal cancer and then does a bit of a American Beauty style.
Yeah.
Need to burn the candle at both ends, and he is amazing in that. Seriously
Yeah, right.
good. The thing that actually made me think of him was just seeing some of the films that I think it was John and the guys at the Pint were doing. I think they did Deptember or something where they went through 4 or 5 Johnny Depp films, and I was sort of going back and going, "Oh, Nick of Time, I'd forgotten about that."
Yeah,
that
right.
was pretty good.
Yep.
And then that made me go. Then I had to go pull out my DVD and watch Crybaby again, and sort of realize, fuck, I loved him when he was young and pretty, because he was doing weird stuff.
Yeah.
Which, at that sort of time, the Burton stuff wasn't kind of the safe character route. It was the off-kilter stuff that for a young actor, you think that's a bold choice to fucking go and do Edward Scissorhands and stuff instead of when you look as fucking good as you do. Dressing up as Edward Scissorhands is a bold move as an actor. And I loved him through there. And then
nice.
I liked. I mean, even though the movie's kind of diminished in returns, Jack Sparrow is a fucking wonderful creation of a character.
Oh yeah, and that first film is fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah.
One of the best adventure films there is.
What was his other musical? Sweeney Todd.
Yep.
Fucking great movie. And it's, you know what? I will watch anything he's in, even if it's a big Burton costume thing, just because I know he's going to be engaging.
Yeah, right.
And then if he's doing a smaller thing, I've never disliked him in one.
Yeah.
Which,
all right, well, I won't
dude's been
besmirch
acting
the
now
choice.
for
It makes
40
sense.
fucking years or something.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. No. All right, my number 5 is someone who has not been acting for 40-something years. I've actually seen her in relatively few things, but she is... Look, I'm not going to beat around the bush. She's one of the prettiest fucking humans that exists. And even apart from that, I just think she's so fantastic. It's Ana de Armas. If I see her name on a poster, I'm going to watch it. And 90% of the time, I'm going to like it. She's had a few stinkers.
I've not seen her in anything bad. So
The
some of the
only-
stuff that
the
people
o-
think are stinkers. And if
Well-
you say Dark Water, I'm going to say you're wrong.
I was going to say, which also features another person on my list, obviously.
duh.
So that was like, I watched it like opening night because I was like, fuck
That could have,
yeah.
I mean, firstly, that movie could have had no script. It still would have been at least a 3 out of 5 just because of her and all of her copious nudity. But
Yeah.
I actually, I enjoyed that.
I didn't
as a
hate
thriller.
it. Yeah.
I certainly, I mean, I think Paul Pizzolo was the one that was giving it like 0.25 out of 1,000 or something. I thought it was passable, if not
same.
above
same.
average.
Yeah.
But I think she and
she
the
is
fellow
just
who I won't
fantastic.
mention were both great. I
She's
really
fantastic.
liked it. It's not
like,
Gone
yeah.
Girl, but
No.
it's very good.
But I've never seen her do anything bad. Like, I mean, Knives Out, she is fantastic. Like, that's a stacked cast, and she is
Yeah.
one of the best things about it.
And
Like,
that was
that's insane when she's
she
out
was
acting people like Jamie Lee
unknown.
Curtis. And, yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure she'd done stuff elsewhere, but I'd never heard of her before.
Yeah.
So it would have been daunting, I'm sure, to go in against Christopher Plummer, Jamie Lee Curtis,
Yeah, and she
Michael
outacts
Shannon,
fucking all of
my
them.
God.
She
is-
carries the film. She's so good. Obviously, Blade Runner 2049. She is exceptional in that. So yeah, I see her name.
I'm on record as saying I don't want another James Bond. I want a spin-off series about her character.
Yeah, yeah.
Bond, as far as I'm concerned, Bond is bookended now.
Yeah.
The franchise has had the perfect end. Don't fucking recast it and try and shoehorn a prequel to that movie or some other shit.
Yeah.
What you want to do is now, in the world of Bond, he is, give us a fucking Felix Leiter movie or whatever. But I would love to see a movie about her character because she was a fucking dynamo in that movie.
Yeah, yeah,
One small scene and it was one of the best in the film.
yeah. So there you
Good
go.
call.
That's my number 5. Over to you.
Well, number 10, I mentioned one of my spirit animals, being Aubrey Plaza. This is kind of the flip side of the coin. This is her other half because, I mean, they're both amazing in everything, but they're always better when they're together. And I'm talking about Anna Kendrick.
I almost said her name at the start of this episode. I was going to place a bet that she was on your list, but I decided not to because I didn't want to spoil anything. But yeah, that makes complete and utter sense that she's here.
How
I knew she
anyone
would be.
could not fucking love her.
I like her. I like her. And yeah, I think I've liked just about everything I've seen her in, but I didn't actually consider her for this list. Like, she doesn't pop into my head as one of those people, but I completely understand the choice, 100%. What would you say is your favourite Kendrick performance?
Ooh. The first Pitch Perfect's hard to go past, but
that is a good movie.
I think it would be a tie between A Simple Favor.
Yeah, I like that
which
movie. Her and Blake
is
Lively.
Hugely underrated thriller.
Yeah,
because
that is, yeah.
It is actually
It's a thriller.
It's quite a serious thriller. I mean,
Yeah, but it wasn't marketed that way. It was marketed really poorly.
Oh, it's an Anna Kendrick movie.
Yeah,
but it's a serious thriller with some
got mystery to it. Yeah, I liked that movie. Yeah.
Between that and the hugely underrated Mr. Right, which Paul is now chuckling to himself over because he thinks it's a bag of ass. I fucking love Mr. Right. Her and Sam Rockwell.
You've spoken about this before. I still haven't seen it.
I think they were in my top 10 couple perfect couples or whatever.
That's where this came up. Yeah.
That is peak Kendrick for me. Is
Yeah, right.
when she's kind of splattered with blood and killing people, but still being bubbly and Anna Kendrick.
All right, so my top 4, you guessed 3 out of the 4 of them last week. Here is where we
I know
have
the
Patrick
other one
Wilson. Oh, do you? You think you know the other one?
Yeah, well, I didn't mention him, and he's not been mentioned yet, and I guarantee he's in there. So,
So here at number 4 is where we have Patrick Wilson. Love Patrick Wilson. I will watch anything that he's in. My memory of the first time I saw him was Little Children, which to this day is one of my favourite films. In fact, speaking
Still
of
haven't got to
Julio, I made Julio from the Contrarians watch that movie as well, and that's one that he actually did like. Patrick Wilson is just incredible in that film. And then from memory, the next thing I saw him in after that was Hard Candy, which he even tops himself. Hard Candy is just incredible.
yeah, great film.
So yeah, I'll watch. And these days he's kind of more known, obviously, for his horror stuff because it's pretty much simultaneously, like same year, he was in The Conjuring and Insidious and kind of fell into both those universes. But I just adore him. I will watch anything he's in. I think he's really talented. I think he's really handsome, and I just love him. Yep.
Is he's the same family as Luke and Owen or not?
No, he's not. No.
Certainly better than either of them.
Right, you're
Yeah,
number
we knew
4.
that was coming. And you know what a big fan I am of Insidious, so no qualms here whatsoever. And, potentially budding director as well.
Yeah. Yep.
First cab off the rank was pretty damn good. All right. If it was purely going on just, if this man's name is on something, will I watch it? This would probably be my number 1. But
yeah, right.
1, sadly, no longer doing stuff. So that kind of pushed it down a little bit. But my number 4 is Tim Curry.
Oh, that's a great call. That's a really good call. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Frankenfurter, obviously.
Oh, yes. Pennywise.
Darkness from Legend.
Oh, man. I fucking love Legend. Yep.
And even things like, I don't know if you remember, might be a bit before your time, but there was a really cool crime TV show called Crime Story.
No, don't recall it.
He popped up in, and another one called Wise Guy with Ken Wall.
Yeah,
and
I've
Jonathan
seen
Banks.
Wise Guy. Yep.
I think it was season 3 or 4 of Wise Guy. He was like the main antagonist for the whole thing.
Yep.
He was this evil record producer who was a corrupt criminal, who was constantly butting heads with. Wasn't Jonathan Banks? It was. Can't remember who the actor was, but his boss, the good guy boss, who was kind of almost saintly in how upright and righteous he was, and then that guy ends up dying, and all the way through it, Tim Curry's been going, and when you die, I'm going to dance a jig on your grave. But because they've kind of been yin and yang for so long, he's really upset that he died.
Yeah.
He still goes to his grave and dances on it, but he does it in a loving way. It was just like, no one but Tim Curry could pull that off. Sadly, not in the best health these days.
Yeah, it was a stroke, wasn't it?
I think it was a severe stroke, and he's literally wheelchair bound.
Very sad, because, he was a fantastic
Kenny Ortega
actor.
trotted him out in his god-awful Rocky Horror reimagining, which was just tragic to watch. It was so sad. But yeah, I mean, I even love his 80s brief pop career.
Yeah, no, that's a great call. Nice. Right, my number 3 is another person who you mentioned last week. Of course he's here. It's Cary Elwes. I fucking adore Cary Elwes. Ever since The Princess Bride. Robin Hood Men in Tights was a childhood favourite of mine. And then he turns around, comes back and does Saw. And that just blew my mind to see this kind of transition of genre for him. He is fantastic in that movie.
Yep.
And he's been popping up a lot lately, mostly to my great surprise. Like, it's enough for me. What was it? What was the Guy Ritchie film with Hugh Grant and
Rouge de Guerre?
Rouge de Guerre. If I had known that Cary Elwes was going to be in that. Was it that one or
was it the other one? Was it that one? Yes, it was.
Yeah. If I had known that he was going to... Like, they should have put him front and center on the poster. I don't care that he's in, like, 1 or 2 scenes. That would have bought a ticket. Like, I'm so glad that he's been popping up in stuff lately.
Have you got to that weird anachronistic superhero thing yet?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh,
I need to.
So good. It's like this weird 1960s set Umbrella Academy thing. Oh, such an oddball thing. And
that's what I love about him.
He's so good in it.
That's what I love about him. He's never been like a Brad Pitt or anything, even though I think he could have been. Like, you look at him back in The Princess Bride, and yet he seems to kind of choose what he wants to do. Like, I find that really interesting about him, that he never kind of climbed for those massive blockbuster roles.
I spent about 10 years getting him confused with Bill Pullman. He did Princess Bride, Pullman did Spaceballs. They both kind of were good-looking leading men in sort of comedy action things.
And if you haven't read it, if you're a fan of The Princess Bride, you should read his book called As You Wish, which is about the making of The Princess Bride. It is fantastic.
No, I've never heard of it.
Oh, it's really great. It's really
Is
great.
that where we get all the anecdotes about Andre the Giant's farting?
Yes, that's where they all come from. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a fantastic read. You should check it out. So there you go. It's my number 3, Cary Elwes. Over to you.
Can't argue with that. Alrighty. No more Americans on my list. Well, I could have said that before Tim Curry, actually, but there you go. Yep. No more Americans. Number 3, and for these 3 probably won't be a big surprise, actually, but my number 3 is Florence Pugh.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Yep.
Just love her
like
so much.
if I'd thought about it harder, she might have cracked my 10. I mean, she'd certainly be an honourable mention for me. I think she's fantastic. Yeah.
She's never not brilliant. Even in substandard fare like Don't Worry Baby, she still shines.
I actually liked Don't Worry Darling. I thought that it was I thought the ending was no good. But I thought for the most part it was okay, and you're right, she's exceptional.
I mean it's not hard when you're up against Harry Styles, but she outshone Chris Pine. She Gemma Chan, whoever else was in it, I can't remember that movie.
Yep.
I've blanked it, and along with Don't Look Up, they've just kind of been pushed into one big overrated trash heap. But Fighting with My Family, fucking amazing. In Midsummer, obviously, just should have got an Oscar. Amazing. And weirdly, proof that ugly people could marry beautiful people if they're funny enough. Because been with Zach Braff for about fucking 5-6 years or longer now.
No, they're separated now.
Really?
Yeah, they split up.
So you're saying I have a shot?
I want to say about a year ago. They split up just before Don't Worry Darling was released from memory.
Oh, God, she didn't shag Harry Styles as well.
I don't know. But yeah,
Zach
no, they're
Braff can
split
go
up.
and join a support club with...
You know what? I actually, if I'd thought about this harder, Zach Braff would have made my 10. He probably would have been around 9 or 8.
I haven't seen him in
Zach Braff
enough
fan.
stuff. I mean, Garden State and Scrubs,
adore him.
really. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else.
Oh, no, I adore him. I would have put him on this list. All right, Florence Pugh, not a surprise at all. I want to see if you can guess my number 2, because you said before that you thought you knew who the other person was.
Yeah, well, it's all about the order, because who have we had? We've had Pat. We've had Carrie. Oh, okay, wait a minute. We've had Pat, we've had Carrie. I know that... Who am I missing? I'm forgetting someone. I don't want to say it in case it's your number 1 because it'll fucking give it away.
All right. Well, I don't think you would have been able to guess it. It's also not an American. My number 2 is Kate Winslet, who I think is one of the best working
Kate Blanchett,
actresses.
you say?
No, fuck Kate Blanchett. I think Kate Winslet is one of the best working actresses in the world. I have never
Let's
seen her
just
in a
talk
bad
about how
turn.
good The Holiday is for the next 2 hours.
Fucking love The Holiday. I'd watch The Holiday till the sun goes down.
I almost put Jude Law.
I mean, Kate Winslet has never done anything bad. She is just literally one of the greatest actresses.
I could countermand that and say she has.
Don't say Titanic. Titanic is fucking fantastic.
But I won't because it'll upset you.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is one of the greatest sci-fi films, one of the greatest romance, one of the greatest dramas. She's just incredible.
One of the best. I mean,
She's
if
truly
we
incredible.
maybe we'll do it someday. Do a top 10 acting debuts, but in terms of feature film debuts, Heavenly Creatures is about as fucking good as it gets.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, that's a great movie. Yeah. She is just fantastic. If I see her name on something, I'm going to go watch it, and I am guaranteed to enjoy it. I think she's only ever done one film that I didn't love, which was Revolutionary Road with her and Leo. Of course, I was going to see it.
Yeah, you didn't like that?
I mean,
like's the wrong word. You didn't appreciate it. It's not. It ain't a good time.
No, it's not. And maybe that was my issue with it. Maybe I've only seen it the once. Maybe I have to rewatch it. I mean, they were both.
It's a grueling watch. I mean, it's like Marriage Story, but twice as long.
Yeah,
and Marriage Story's an
somehow
ordeal
even more
in
depressing.
a good way. Yeah,
yeah.
It's. I mean, they're both so good, and it's. I think. He's a great director, but it's a rough fucking watch.
Yeah. So there you go. That's my number 2. Over to you.
I think the reason why, and it's only just starting to dawn on me now. I think there are people who I would probably watch in anything that I didn't consider for this, and I can mention his name because he's obviously not on yours. But Benedict Cumberbatch would be another one. Where I have never disliked him in anything. I think he's one of the best working actors in the world. I would watch him in anything. But he doesn't do a lot of light-hearted stuff. And I think I put Winslet in that camp where I'm not going to run out and see stuff she's in even though I know it's good because I know it's not going to be...
a fun time. Yeah.
It's probably not going to be a horror or sci-fi or a comedy or whatever. It's going to be a serious drama and I've got to be in the right mood for it. Which is why I think my favourite stuff of hers is stuff like The Holiday, where there is some humor in there. It's a little bit, even though it's, I mean, technically a drama, I guess, it's lighter.
Yeah,
it's totally not Revolutionary Road or what was the one she did where she's in a fucking prison camp with women or something? Oh God, she does a lot of heavy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you're number 2.
Number two. The greatest working actor currently performing, Michael Sheen.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of like Cumberbatch, but even more so, or David Tennant, who's another one I considered, perfectly happy doing comedy, doing genre stuff. I mean, Michael Sheen was in a fucking what's the the Underworld franchise, for God's sake.
Have you yet watched Masters of Sex?
No, I haven't yet.
The first season, at least, is fantastic, and it seems to have picked up again. But that's him and Lizzie Kaplan, and he's fantastic in that. He's great.
I for some reason, I keep conflating it in my mind with whatever the Fassbender thing was, which it was either a movie or a series where he was some sort of, it wasn't Masters and Johnson, but it was some other sex historical thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of sort of mushed them all together in my brain and could never remember which was which, and so I think that's probably why I never got to it. Plus, Lizzie Kaplan's a little annoying, but
how very dare you! If I'd thought about it harder, she would have made this list.
Oh, come on!
Oh yes, Party Down, Mean Girls, True Blood. I love Lizzie Kaplan.
I always forget she was in Mean Girls because I didn't know who she was back then.
I love Lizzie Kaplan.
Well,
I love
really
and
good.
adore her. Yeah.
I still resent the fact that it's not her fault, but we don't have Isla Fisher in the second Now You See Me movie because of fucking Lizzie Kaplan being annoying through the whole thing.
All right, my number one, no surprise to anybody, it's Ben Affleck. I barely need to say anything else. I love him. I am the one
It's the bomb
champion.
in Phantoms.
Yeah, he was the bomb in Phantoms. I am the one champion of the world of reindeer games. As well as being a great actor, I think he's a fucking fantastic director. I think, Gone
I was
Baby
surprised.
Gone is-
Did you put up a top 3 for the Countdown Boys for their Vegas movies?
No, I didn't. No. No.
Because
Didn't get around to it.
I didn't remember seeing anyone put reindeer games, and I was fairly sure that involved robbing a Vegas casino.
It does, yeah. It's got
Either
that
Billy
fantastic
forgot
opening scene with all the dead Santas.
Either Billy forgot one of his favourite films, or he didn't call it.
Yeah. No, big fan of Reindeer Game. I love Ben Affleck. I would literally watch him do anything. So there you go. That's my number one. Over to you.
Yeah, I'm with you. Always a joy to watch, even with peroxided hair in substandard Ridley Scott films. Do you want to have a guess at my number one?
No, I don't. I can't think of who it would be. So you've said it's not an American.
Technically, it's an Argentinian, but people probably think of her as English.
That rings a bell, and yet I can't say a name. I don't know. Who is it?
I'll rattle off some films. The New Mutants. Thoroughbreds. No, nothing.
None of these are... No.
Split?
I haven't seen either of them. Oh, of course it is. Of course. It's Anya Taylor-Joy.
It is Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh,
Finest
yes.
actress working today, most beautiful woman on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, what can you say? Queen's
How did I not
Gambit.
think of... I've been looking at her face every day for the last 6 months. Couldn't pick it. Yep.
You've had her around to stay? You didn't tell me?
Yep.
Yeah.
That
always
makes
amazing.
100% sense. Yeah.
The only... and like... one of the people that was very close to my 10, but I just haven't seen her enough stuff, Jodie Comer,
Yeah.
can
she's great
nail
as well.
any fucking accent in the world. So far, anyway. English is not even her native tongue, her first language, but you wouldn't fucking know it.
Yeah.
You know, raised in Argentina until she was early teens or something, I think. So she said in interviews she still thinks in what's Argentina? Portuguese. But yeah, she could do Russian accent. She could do fucking anything.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Yeah, good call.
You still haven't seen Queen's Gambit, have you?
I have, yeah. I liked Queen's Gambit. Yeah, I liked that series.
Well done,
yeah.
Gold Star. you watched a thing.
I did. Yeah, I liked Queen's Gambit a lot, actually. I liked it even more than I was expecting to because, for the most part, it is quite a slow period drama, but she carries that show. She's just great in it. No, that's a good call.
Absolutely, a fearless performer. I mean, as you like, speaking of fantastic debuts, fucking The Witch. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big fan of The Witch. Yeah.
First feature. But even, look at things like The Northman,
Yeah.
She was the first one diving into the icy cold water when all the big burly actors were asking for jumpers. Yeah,
and Split,
she's
she's almost been overshadowed in Split because James McAvoy's performance in that film is so good, but she's fantastic.
Just to be able to hold your own against that performance.
Exactly.
It's the same way Tom Cruise is underrated in Rain Man. There's something to be said for kind of the straight performance that can still be noticed.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, no, great call.
And
good call.
You, of course, have seen more of her than me, but hopefully that will be remedied next year. Maybe, I don't know.
All right. Do you want to rattle off just a couple of your honourable mentions? Not all 50. Maybe give us 5 or something.
One that I left off because I've literally only seen her in 2 things is Amelia Jones. But I as I quite rightly touted, she should have been nominated for Best Actress for Coda. But also in, I think, the underrated Lock and Key. She's very engaging. Her and Haley Steinfeld and who's the other one? Zoe Deutsch. All of those I will watch in anything.
Yeah, I would watch Zoe Deutsch in anything.
Sharon Horgan.
Yep. Big
serious
fan of
consideration.
Sharon Horgan. Yep.
But I've seen her in 1 movie and 2 shows. McAvoy, you mentioned, was very close to being on there. He's a phenomenal actor, as is Adam Driver. The only other one I'll mention, who again I haven't seen in enough stuff, but if I see her in something, I'm gonna see it, is Aisling Franciosi.
Yes, same. She was in my honourable mentions as well, but exactly the same reason. She hasn't done that much, but the things she's done, she's been exceptional.
Nightingale and Demeter are the only things I've ever seen her in.
But Nightingale, fucking hell,
wow.
she's
amazing.
Yeah. I also had Felicity Jones. Again, I haven't seen her in much, but really like her.
Is she Rogue One?
Rogue One, yeah.
I can't get her muddled up with Ray. Daisy Ridley.
The
2 movies just kind of mixed together. But I like them both, actually.
Alexandra Daddario, I'll watch anything she's in.
Yeah.
Those piercing eyes, she got me.
Eyes? In inverted commas?
And for the exact same reason, Sydney Sweeney. I'll watch anything Sydney Sweeney's in. But it felt too dirty putting that on the list proper.
Yeah, because she's not very good at acting. She's just got big hooters.
All right. Well, there we go. What should we get to next week,
neither of us put like Ryan Reynolds or something. But I think he's kind of gone off the boil a bit because he was very much one of those guys that you kind of like watching just because he's going to be him. But I think we're all a bit tired of him just being him now.
Yeah. All right. Shall we watch something next week, mate? Shall we try get to Scorsese's 4-hour film, or is that going to be too long to squeeze in?
I kind of feel bad saying it, but I kind of want to wait for streaming where I've got toilets and.
I think we're only a couple of weeks away from that because I believe it's. Netflix.
It'll be an Irishman. No, Apple, it'll do a week in cinemas to say he qualifies for awards, and then it'll go
from
to
memory,
streaming.
it's an Apple original, so I'm assuming it'll drop on Apple TV in about 2 weeks or so. So all right. Let's wait for that. We'll watch it as a mini-series. All right, well, I don't know what we'll get to next week then, mate, because, I agree. Let's leave Flower Moon for streaming where we can watch it as a mini-series. Split it into 4-hour-long chunks, as Scorsese intended.
The story interests me. The one trailer that I got force-fed at the movies looks good.
Yep.
But I tell you what, I'm a bit burnt after The Irishman on... Scorsese, he's kind of gone off the boil for me, and I'm not. I'm not. He's like Nolan. I'm just not feeling it as much as I was 10 years ago.
All right. Well, I guess we'll put a pin in it, and we'll come back next week with something. But in the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do that at wewatchedathing.com or wewatchedathing@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, where we'll give it to you all under the handle at wewatchedathing.com, at wewatchedathing. If you want to help support the show, you can do that at patreon.com/wewatchedathing. Hear our new bonus series where we chat about great albums. We're about to record another one now.
Yeah, and what are we up to? 12, 13 eps or something?
13, yeah. And we'll catch you next week.
See ya. All right, let me grab a can.